we can tell when someone is super high or drunk, right? Everyone can tell. Everyone knows, right? It's not a secret. And I would say that
I mean, I will take this over a panel about Israel Palestine because this is inconsequential, and in the case of Israel Palestine, everybody tries to be an expert. The topic is, are women failing women?
it's fine if you're just again on a hangout stream. Like, hey, come play some League of Legends with me. We're gonna hang out on a stream and talk some shit. Cool,
Oh.
right?
Oh,
Um, but if you show up high as balls to a discussion about Israel Palestine,
of course. Why did they have to shut up about Israel Palestine, especially you, Wick? Especially you. Especially you should shut up about this topic. Please. I beg you.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
crazy. That's crazy.
does that make
Yeah,
sense?
that's
Yeah,
like
that's
Right.
super irritating to me. Or if I'm like entering a debate about like I don't know, something serious, right? Like this is how people make their money. This is their career.
Stardust, you entered the debate about marginalizing non binary people and you just started shouting at President Sunday. You do this. You enter serious debates and act unprofessionally. And now you say it now you say it now you say it irritates you. Come on. You're guilty of this. Resub tweeting icon that you forget she has their moms. You do this, Stardust. You're
Like I don't show up to my job drunk, right? So
I guess I don't take women seriously enough. I'm sorry.
what? Sorry.
What? I don't. What? Um.
I thought this was a fun discussion about, whatever. Just
What?
about why women fail women. Are we failing each other right
I
now?
wasn't even talking about this specifically, but like yeah, specifically like when especially female streamers show up to debates, like it just I don't know, just seems
I agree.
yeah.
Like if they're trying to show up to a debate and
I mean, Stardust, you do this. You show up to debates and just act like, I don't know, you start screaming and you do this. Someone made a video about Stardust called The Worst Debate on Twitch, made on Stardust hostile and embarrassing debate with Merrick. What is it a one about Mr. Girl?
they want to be taken
Is that the
seriously.
one?
That's fine.
Oh yikes. Sometimes some people like to dabble. I don't know. It's like difficult because I do see both sides, but I also see the
What? I remember that debate. Absolutely atrocious.
side of like sometimes even if it's like a semi-serious debate, it's like as long as they are coherent, so you can actually go back and forth with them, their arguments make sense. Inherently, I don't think it's a big issue.
If they're coherent, then I probably can't even tell, right? Like I
Yeah, that's
probably
fair.
wouldn't even be able to. If I can tell, then there's an issue, right? So
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Then it's just like, okay, now I have to endure this maybe for
Well,
two
and it
hours.
comes
yeah.
in. It comes into how women fail other women, right? So I think that as
Huh?
a again, women already have a problem in this space being taken seriously. That's just true.
True. People
There
don't
is a
take
problem
me
where
seriously.
men don't take women as seriously as they do other men.
Mm.
I don't know if it's simply the professorial beard that I have that makes people listen when I say
You don't have a professorial beard. Do not. Don't. Uh, don't flatter yourself. You do not have a professorial beard.
something.
Same with the Richard Spencer one.
Like I have been on a show with Stardust, and I'll use you as an example here,
Mm.
Stardust, where Stardust has made an argument and everyone ignored her argument. I made the same argument not 2 minutes later, and then everyone engages with me, right?
That happened to me.
That
What
it,
happened to your tooth? Doesn't take Lucy seriously. Let me I don't know. Stardust didn't take me seriously for one.
it's going to happen again, right?
Yeah.
And
Just
so when
saying.
you turn up to a
Stardust didn't take me seriously during that panel.
debate space or a contentious conversation or to any kind of serious talk, and you're tripping balls,
Sorry.
you are just reinforcing the stereotype that women should not be taken
Right.
seriously. And I would argue that if you were showing up to these spaces high as fuck, you are failing women because it does play into this stereotype.
No, I don't.
Who comes to debate's highest quack to begin with? You're the host and she's Stardust host. Wick, bad example, true.
think I'm
So,
failing women.
I don't think so. Because think about it. Honestly, being high, okay, maybe it's not the best, right? But it's not worse than like shaking your boobs on stream. Like you've seen like the hot tub streamers, and I'm once again nothing against them. Make your money how you have to make your money. But I really do think that's a lot worse than somebody showing up
Yes,
high.
I think if someone shows up to a debate stream and they just start shaking their boobs to make
Again, what a. This is the highbrow content that Wick produces.
their point, I'm not going to take them seriously either. I think that also is bad, but it's not
but
an
that
either
doesn't
or
happen.
thing.
What we have
Right?
happened
Well,
is, you know,
To be fair,
we're
if that
talking
had happened on a panel, I don't know how I would react, but it you know what I mean? Like
yeah.
Okay.
You know, I guess that's it, right? Like, there are just some people that just rather have a debate and be taken seriously than just kind of, have fun with it. And
I
that
mean, there's
sucks.
nothing wrong with having fun with something, right? But like
We're
we're
having too much fun, Stardust, with this topic, with these topics.
talking about how women are trying to be taken seriously within specific spaces, right? And even being taken seriously while you're having fun is also a thing, right? There, being taken seriously, having people not think that they can get away with saying whatever to you, right? It goes in together.
I mean, that's true. There is being treated unseriously, and there's being treated seriously when you're being playful. Yeah.
right? So you do want to be taken seriously, even if you are having a stream where you're having fun with people. And
True.
yeah, I don't know. That's just kind of like my read on it. So
What's your read?
yeah.
okay, fair enough. I don't want to this yeah, I didn't mean to
Are
didn't
we
mean to
are we pro legalization? I don't know how it works in the states. I don't know if it's
I'm
legalized
pro
everywhere.
legalization of weed. I'm pro
Pro
legalization of
legalization.
weed. But like, I'm a weed user myself. But like, I don't show up, to
Yeah,
my streams. Yeah.
I wouldn't get
Yeah.
high before I drove, right? Or I
Yeah,
wouldn't get
yeah.
high before I was going to do a job interview.
Well,
I wouldn't get
deal.
high before I was going to go
They are talking about
and
women
babysit
betraying
someone's
women.
kid, right? Like there are certain things like you are expected to be respectful of people's time and people's audiences and people's attention, right? And if you are showing up, it shows a disregard and a disrespect for people's spaces and times. If you're
Here's
just
a
gonna
question.
show up,
Here's a question I have, Wick. The first time
please.
you let me on a panel, okay? Could you tell that I was inebriated? You
Nope.
ti- you couldn't tell I was high out of my mind.
Nope.
I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I was high out of my mind. It was like my first stream. I'm like, let's just, relax a little bit. But like it was enjoyable for the stream. I was able to interact. I was coherent because you're telling me you couldn't tell. So I think
If
it
I
is
can't
possible.
tell, it's not an issue.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it
We're
depends
not
on like,
talking. If you can do it, cool. I am saying most people can't.
Well,
mm,
again,
How
there's
do you know that most people can't?
It's the thing.
moderation, right? There's moderation. So if it's to the if you're just like buzzed or whatever, or if it's like it's not if it's not interfering with your ability to engage meaningfully with other people, then it's fine, But like when it's noticeable, when I can notice that somebody is like out of their mind, like that, that's where it makes a difference. So.
Or it's not. Yeah. Okay, that's fair.
Mhm.
That's very
I just-
nitpicky.
Is it? Why?
A little bit. I think it's kind of like, I guess that goes back into the
I don't know.
content
This
creation
panel
thing,
is
like
boring.
basically
But I'm
alienating your
still waiting for the
audiences and
person. I
whatnot.
don't think I'm gonna have my
Because it's like,
conversation
oh,
today. I
I
wanted
can
to.
tell you're just like, like that. So
I mean,
you're
I
not
have
actually listening to me.
Well, I have audience members who get high or who drink while they're watching me, but
Wow.
And you think
I
they
know
can
that.
understand you and take you seriously like that?
Yeah, absolutely. Because I'm still working on providing a clear communication to them, right? If I am unable to do that, they're not going to enjoy the stream.
True.
It's about like what am I providing to my audience that is
That is an excellent question, Stardust. What are you providing to your audience? That is a very good question
is meaningful for them.
that I would
Why
like answered
they even want to have me
immediately.
on, So yeah, somebody in my chat just said I'm drunk as balls already. So yeah.
See?
Yeah, but
That's
the
relatable.
audience does not have the same responsibility, right? That the
What do you provide indeed?
content creator does. Like my audience can, as long as they
I regret being subscribed for 2 weeks.
obey like the rules of my chat, they can do whatever. They don't look.
Yeah.
They don't. Half of them.
I mean,
don't-
Stardust is still bigger than me. How big is Stardust? How big is Stardust? Let's see how unjust the world is. Shark Trio Zero is streaming. Let's see how unjust this world is. Why am I looking for Stardust separately? We are on Stardust's channel, 11,000 subscribers. How many people are watching Stardust live? 35 people.
Don't even listen to me. All they do is turn the sound off and look in and make comments on my beard, and they'll send me weird DMs about it. Okay, that's like a portion of my audience, a not insignificant portion.
You have a weird audience, Wick, but then again, what else do you provide apart from the beard?
It's fine. That's how they want to engage with my content. That's their choice.
Content.
But as a content creator, as someone who
creator.
collaborating with other content creators, right? I do have
You only collaborated with me once and then never again. Well, no one starts at 1 million subs, right? True. How many subs have I got? Let's check it out, gigglers. 976. We're getting there. We're getting to 1K at least. Recommend me to your friends or something.
Responsibility to be on time, right? To show up not cognitively impaired through drugs, alcohol, or sleep deprivation, etc. I have a responsibility to obey the rules.
Oh, it's under 1,000.
Still, these are all things that are responsibilities that I think content creators have. And when you fail in those responsibilities, and when you don't live up to those responsibilities, it is disrespectful, and it does hurt the credibility of whatever group you are seen to represent. As a man, unfortunately or fortunately, I have the privilege is I don't represent a group. I'm just vanilla.
What? Wait, what? As a man, I don't really represent a group. I'm vanilla. Wick is so silly. I don't know anyone to recommend to. I'm too radical to anyone I know. I see.
I'm Wick. There's no one identifies me with really anything else, pretty much.
That is so sad. That is, oh my god. That's some of the saddest things I've ever heard. I'm just Wick. Nobody really identifies me with anything. That is such a sad thing to say. Now I just feel bad. Like, look at any. Name me any streamer. Random streamer that you know. Give me their name. And I will tell you if I can identify them with anything. Give me a name. Any. Shoot. Shoot me with a name right now of a streamer. Vosh. Horses. There you go. That was easy. PewDiePie. Accusations of being a Nazi. Shark. Going to the gym and wholesomeness. And with calling people stinkies or something. Xanderhall. Weed and being a stoner. Demon Mama. Wholesomeness. Demons. Deep investigations into drama that is not drama baiting. Lucy. Ugly face. What about Hest? Illiteracy. See, I've got one for everybody. We can continue like this. But Whick, I'm just Whick. I'm just Whick. Nobody really identifies me with anything. I'm just a nobody. Do you need a hug? Maybe. A nice hug. But, okay, any other? Do you want to continue to see why? You want to continue, or have I proven the point? Have I proven the point sufficiently? Asmongold. Cheap steaks. Computer company. Used to be a Trump voter. And moves his eyebrows a lot when he speaks. At least as the Asmongold character. Dream? I don't know Dream. I don't know enough about Dream 2. Oh, that's okay. That's okay. Cheating in Minecraft, that one was easy. Okay. So if you want, we can continue this little what do I associate of what do I sort of, what did he say?
But women, no one identifies me with.
There you go. You can continue this game of what do I identify people with when I hear their name, or we can continue the panel. So if you want me to continue with the thing, write continue. And if you want to continue the little game, then write a name, I guess, and I'll tell you what I identify it with. Let's see, is the Christian discussion on? It depends. I'm waiting for Shakespeare. So I was having this discussion of Shakespeare, but they're not here. Wick. Dorkiness. 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 I associate Wick with being a dork. I identify dork. I identify the dork in Wick. Anyone else besides Wick? If we're done, just tell me we're done. I am very interactive with the audience, so this is a democracy. My allegiance is to the republic, to democracy, which is why I ask your opinion. I could not. I could be one of those awful streamers that just does not ask the audience for opinions, but I do. Because I value it. I think the point's been made. Okay.
With really anything else, pretty much. But women creators, right? Especially people of color, women creators, and we can say it's unfair, and it very much is, they are seen as representatives of a group in a way that I am not. Do we disagree?
I
Only
don't
if they want to
disagree.
be.
Yeah, so I don't think it should. I don't think you should be required to be a representative, but I do think it's like part of. Unfortunately, people see you whether you
I'm a representative of all the gigglers. I want it. Sonsol. Transphobia.
want to be or not. But yeah, I would say it just comes down to like
I identify with transphobes.
a consideration thing for like the people
From
around
what
you,
I
and the people
remember
who
of
are
them.
like like
So it's a networking thing.
not networking. It's just it's just like
Why
it's
are you
just
sorry?
decency, I guess, like politeness. It's also it has to do with like, is this person putting in a lot of work? Am I like fucking up their content if I'm not putting in 100%, things like that. So
I put in the effort. I try. Ah, I see. Thank you, Greater Int.
Let's try this. I think we're circling the drain a little bit. I'll ask one more question, then if you don't, guys.
That is what happens with Wick panels or with things that Wick partakes in.
If you ladies don't mind, we'll take some calls because there's some men in my audience who have big.
I should call. Should I call in to Wick? Wait, there's a. Let me see. Backstage. You know that I could go to the backstage and call in. You want me to?
Problems with all
Okay.
you women. Okay.
Of
No, I want to
course.
give them a
I want to
chance.
hear mine.
I want to give them a chance to take you to task.
I don't really know what to add to this, to be quite honest. To be brutally honest, I have no clue what I would add to this. So I'd be just calling in for the sake of calling in.
Do women content creators have any responsibilities towards the men in their audience? And if so, what?
I mean, I think it would be
What?
nice. So responsibility is.
I'm
I don't
sorry,
know.
what sort of a question is that? Why would any content creator have any special responsibility to any specific gender in their audience? What? That makes.
No,
What sort of a
agree.
question
I think
is
it would
that?
be nice.
Audience. Do women take you
Huh?
to task? do women content creators have any responsibilities towards the men in their audience? And if so, what?
That make
I mean, I think it would
that's a stupid question. Don't ask stupid questions, Wick.
be nice. So
Be
responsibility
nice.
is I don't know if I agree with
Use
responsibility.
another
and-
word if you'd rather.
Yeah. It would be good, and it would be beneficial for female content creators to be able to
You'd call
reach
it an
out
ask
and
'em.
connect with their male audiences, and not like belittle their problems, not belittle their fears, their wants, right?
That's not a woman specific responsibility. That's a responsibility of any decent human. Why is this framed as a woman responsibility to not be awful to people? And why does this only apply to men? I mean, you don't really have a responsibility to anyone unless you're like a doctor, a parent, or something. I mean, you have a responsibility when it comes to what messaging you're putting out to your audiences. You do have that responsibility, but
Right? Try to connect with them, because that's going to be like the best way to connect, and best way to build an audience, really, and also to just make them feel heard, so
okay.
I guess that's what I would say.
Am I making you heard? Am I making my audience heard? Yes or no in the chat if you feel heard when I stream. If you don't, I feel sorry, and I will do my best to correct the record. Yes. Be blunt, be honest, and tell me if you feel heard by me.
Okay. Yeah.
Interesting. What about you?
Interesting. Interesting. What about you? Interesting. How interesting. Nobody
You,
else responded.
Okay. What do you
Only Maya Mayor feels heard by me. That feels bad.
think?
I do think there's some sort
Okay,
of
I will work on making all of you feel heard, okay? I will work on that.
responsibility, like I said, and I think I've repeated this quite a bit, but just the over sexualization. I think we
I learned recently about a social phenomenon and how women tend to move out of the way on sidewalk almost every time, whereas men generally want like there were experiments done when women wouldn't move first and men kept running into them because they weren't.
have to be careful because it does have an impact on young men. No, it is not just it's not just women who have to worry about that. It's also men. But I do.
How do? Can you elaborate on what do men have to worry about? What do I have to worry about if a woman over sexualizes herself on stream? What
Well,
does that matter to me as a
I
man?
think what happens is when men see that from one, they're going to expect it from another, right? So they might see another female creator that they're like, oh, this girl's cool, but I want to see a little bit more of her. I want her to do similar things to the other person I
I
watch.
see.
So that's why I say it's kind of like on both parties in a way. And that's why maybe just the over sexualization and the nature of just like how you present yourself, the things you say, you should just be a little careful with.
Mid, what do you think?
I think people just simply have to just know how to connect with their audiences, and instead of more complaining at them, complaining about their own problems, sort of thing,
Do I complain at you, my audience? I don't complain. I never complain. Hopefully, maybe. I don't know. I try not to complain.
Fair enough. Okay, fair enough.
Fair enough.
Let's bring on some guests. People are begging,
no.
pleading, screaming for me to let some people on.
Oh no.
Gang. Before I do though, you gotta support me.
I've never ever heard Lulu complain in a bad way. Thank you. Thank you. I try not to complain. I think.
Me financially. That's the responsibility the audience has to the Wick. Okay, you have to give the Wick money.
Wick.
Bits, super chats, subs, donos, etc. Send me super chats, send me bits, send me money.
How
Okay,
desperate.
that's it. Let's bring in. I know you guys want this. I know you guys want this bad.
How desperate. That said, please donate.
Hello.
Oh, it's
You're
Mantis.
live.
Hi, Mantis.
Who is this? I don't know this person.
Oh my God, are they not here? I bring them up. Everyone's screaming.
Hi. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi.
Sorry, I was on mute. I've only got a short time, so I'm probably going to stir something up,
See, now we cannot take you seriously anymore because you were muted.
and then I have to go away. So I'm sorry in advance for that. But I'm listening, and I think that just by virtue of having this panel and this topic and discussing it in the way you're discussing it, I think you've accidentally stumbled into one of the main issues for women in this space, and that's just sort of any woman who gets up in this space and does pretty much anything is therefore representative of all women. And I think that in itself is fucked. Absolutely ridiculous.
As Sugar, and I would sometimes not step out of the way for a man who clearly expected me to.
Because I think as a content creator of any kind, any gender, you get up and you want to make whatever content you want to make. You want to appear however the fuck you want to appear.
I run into a different problem in Poland sometimes. And it's regardless of gender, okay? When I walk towards a person and we both want to get out of each other's way, sometimes this awkward thing happens when we get out of each other's way in the same direction and then get out of each other's way in the same direction, and it gets weird.
And it doesn't matter whether you put
And
makeup
it's regardless of gender.
on or wear glasses or do your hair, or if you do none of those things. It doesn't matter if you get stoned or drunk, depending on TOS. You should just be, by virtue of being an individual content creator, get up there and be able to do that. And then I think the problem is, as women, this is the problem. We are therefore held up as representatives of an entire group, and we have some kind of collective group guilt that we have to adopt as some kind of responsibility or something that we owe. And I don't see that happening as often for men. I just don't. And I also just think that what's been talked about in this panel is almost every part of it has just been an example of why this is a problem.
May I ask what part specifically, if you have a specific part?
Well, in a way, I was listening and you guys are saying stuff about makeup and how they appear. Do they have some kind of responsibility to appear less sexual because it's bad for women to be sexualized? I think if a woman is going to get up there and dress up sexual and then complain about being sexualized, there's an issue with that individual content creator. I don't think it needs to be extrapolated to an entire gender group. And I also don't think that women wearing makeup and appearing hot or pretty is necessarily inherently a bad thing for
appear
women.
hot.
Who gives a hell? Who
I appear hot. Hot tomato.
gives a shit? Of course, look hot. It fucking sells. The problem here is probably the demand, not the supply.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well,
I would agree with that.
I think that was actually a really good point, because it is the demand by men, and this is what men want to see. They want to see beautiful women. They like the makeup, no matter what anyone says. And sometimes women just want to feel nice. Want to put on makeup. I think that's okay.
I hear you, Mantis.
Maybe I should start wearing makeup to streams. Maybe that'll attract more audiences. Makeup or no makeup? Chat, decide. Write yes or no. Makeup or no makeup. Which means I'm gonna have to learn it. I'm gonna learn makeup on stream. How about that? That could be a thing, actually. That could be a thing. Not really, no.
When you say that this shouldn't be happening, we shouldn't be holding people up to be a representative group, I agree. But we have to deal with reality how it is, rather than how we would wish it would be. And whether we like it or not, a lot of people do hold up women as representatives of women in this space in a way that they do
But then
not with men. Is that not true?
I think that's absolutely true, and therefore I think
Okay.
maybe a better panel to have had would have been, why do we hold women to such high standards of collective group guilt, as opposed to which women are making women look bad?
A lot.
You're
good
literally
point.
contributing to it.
I know
You're
it's fun.
actually
True.
Good point.
contributing to it.
But that's
True, but that's the nature of Wick panels, contributing to a problem rather than, you know, helping in any way. That's the nature of the Wick zone, contributing to a problem.
that's
Isn't
the
it?
thing, right? We
That
have to
is the
give
thing.
examples of why it's
But-
wrong
Hello,
and why it's bad.
Easter
And
is
But
like
that's not
sometimes
what you're doing,
people.
Wick. That's not what you're doing. You're
What
saying,
am I doing? Tell me,
yeah,
please.
you're saying
you're
it
contributing to the problem, Coca-Cola man.
is bad that women are like, who get up there and content create are being held to represent all women.
Yep.
However, they are, and so let's discuss how they are and what they should be
Yep.
doing better so that they aren't going to represent women badly. What the fuck?
Absolutely. Right? Like we could say, well, man, someone shouldn't have set my house on fire. That's really wrong of them to do. How dare they? But you know what would be helpful in this situation? Now that we're in it, to know how to either A, fight the fire or get the fuck out. Because if we just sit there and say, this is unfair and I'm not going to deal with it, we will burn to death. And that is not going to help anyone. So
But
we are
I
in a
don't think
situation. We are in a situation right now where we do have this.
Depends. Maybe someone wants you to. Okay, never mind. Oh my goodness.
Toxic, and I would agree it's a bad thing. So we have to know how to swim in these waters, even though we know they're poisonous, and also work on
What? The mind of a Wick.
towards getting the water less toxic in general. But while we're
Okay.
here, while the house is on fire, we need to know how to protect
Poisonous water. Don't swim in poison. True. You're right. Of course.
ourselves and protect other people.
Okay, well here's a little piece of advice then I'm gonna give to all the women content creators. Don't listen to fucking anyone who holds you up as like representative of the group. Do your thing, and if people come into your community and go, "Oh, your arguments are so shit," classic women. Like this is a woman thing to say. This is a woman way to look. You're contributing to the talk. How about instead of saying
That is a weird way. That is a really weird thing to say to a woman. That is a woman way to look. I mean, yeah. That is a woman. That is such a woman way. Yes, thanks. Thanks. As a woman, I have a woman way of. It's such a woman way to look. You have such a woman look about you. Actually, don't use. Depends. Like, when you. Okay, I'm gonna give you big advice, okay? When, let's say, you are frying something and your stove catches fire, your hot pan catches fire, never try to dose it with water. Don't do it. It'll just make things worse. Trust me.
that, you say, "No, you're toxic. Get the fuck out of here." Like, you know, I see this as well, like on Destiny
do it.
stream. I know it's a particularly interesting community, but he's even stamped down on the fact that when women come on and they talk, all the comments and everyone, they hear whatever they're saying and they don't say, "Oh, Lav is crap. Lav is blah blah blah." They say, "Oh, Lav represents all women and women are." This is just classic woman.
Lav? No. I've never heard anyone say that Lav represents all. No. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Lav absolutely does not represent all women or even some women. Lamb.
behavior, and that's what they do. I think calling that out first and foremost is actually going to be more helpful than calling out women who are somehow behaving in ways that reinforce this toxicity.
Mhm.
The fact that the toxicity is there to begin with is more like important to point out, and then you can talk about how potentially these women might be doing things that are a little bit annoying.
Love is
But like,
transphobe.
I don't think it's
Real
very
hardcore
helpful
transphobe.
to stand up there and go, this woman's tits are out and it's gross, and that's what's making this space so bad for women.
I don't
Who
think
cares if their tits are out?
I don't think
Who
that's
gives a shit?
inherently
Yeah,
what's
I
happening. I
look.
think you can criticize some parts of what we see. If we see over sexualization, I think it's okay for women to criticize some aspects of it. It doesn't inherently mean you cannot do those things, but yeah, it's okay to be criticized.
I agree. I agree that it's fine to criticize some aspects, but the problem I'm having is that it's therefore being extrapolated onto an entire group. And now women who come into this space who want to become content creators are thinking, oh, I have this heavy burden of representing all women, and it stifles their ability to just do whatever they would like to do.
Mm-hmm. I tend to agree with that. That's why I don't agree with the idea of like responsibility. I don't think any woman has responsibility to other women in the space. I just think it would be nice.
I can really tell. I agree. I agree that Stardust dislikes the idea of responsibility. I can definitely see that. I can definitely see that Stardust sees responsibility as a BS concept. A woman can do what she wants with her body, right? Right. Yes.
For certain women to do certain things because it does make life easier for the rest of the people online. But
Don't
yeah,
we think
Yeah,
men
I think if women were out there yelling at a woman content creator being in their chat or being on their stream going, ooh, this woman is so gross, she doesn't wear makeup, that if they're being toxic towards each other like that, that's perfectly reasonable to call out. And I think that's like would be a horrible thing to do, not just by virtue of them being women, but just it's horrible to do to anybody. But it does create a
I'm getting bored of this. I'm getting bored.
toxic space for women. But yeah, I just this whole like streamers and content creators and everyone has this like, oh, you owe this group this because you're this part of this group
You
somehow,
don't.
is like is kind of the actual issue. I don't actually think many people owe many people
You think-
anything. A streamer owes their audience and has a responsibility for some of their
Do you think
audience
that you have
and
a
moderation.
responsibility? Do you think you have a responsibility to your community in real life, like so your neighborhood? Do you think you have a responsibility to your neighbors?
To some degree, and
Sure,
it's not
what
a
degree?
huge degree. I actually don't think you have an obligation to do almost anything except follow the law. This is the problem. I just don't
see.
think there is an obligation, and I think online in these spheres, it's like portrayed as an obligation. You don't even have an obligation to be nice, actually.
I agree that you don't have to, but I disagree whether you should. I think people
Yeah, but this is what it
should
always
not
comes
be
down
nasty,
to is
for
the
example, right?
should like question, and I just think it's a little
This
lots
is
of people
getting
should do
boring.
a lot of things.
We're gonna
but
wait
Yes.
like a few minutes more, and I'm just gonna move on to a more serious topic because
Yes,
there's
yes, they
also
should.
no
That's true.
obligation. There's also
Yeah,
no
but how-
obligation from women in
Whick panels are so bad. It's
real life to represent all women in
Why are we
IRL
here even?
spaces, right? So
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And if anyone tried to say that to me in real life, that, oh, I don't like the way you're dressing or the way you're speaking or what you're saying in this little setting because
Okay.
you're making women look bad, I'd probably fucking slap a bitch.
Yeah, but if someone said, "Hey, your actions are hurting those around you," right? We'll take the gender out of it, and we'll just again, your community members.
Yeah, but that's
If
my
you
point.
go
Take the
to
gender
a
out of
house-
it. Take the gender out of it.
That's fine. But again, we have to recognize that we do have. I know you hate that word, but we do have these responsibilities. But I want to give Mooncake a chance to go. I want to argue with you, but again, I want to let the women argue
Okay,
with you.
I do have to go.
I know
and
you
I
have
really
to go.
hate that I have to
I
go.
want to have you on though because I
Yep,
absolutely disagree. Contact me. We'll set that up. I'll see you later.
deal.
Thank you for coming
Deal.
on. I really appreciate
Thanks,
it.
guys, and sorry and thanks.
thank you.
Do you want to say anything? Comment?
I think obligation depends on your personal ethics, i.e., if it pertains to quid pro quo duty and them.
On that, Mooncake, before we bring in the next guest?
Oh, it sucks that she left because yeah, I had a lot more questions.
I
So,
know, I know.
I do agree with her. Like, in no way are we the spokesperson of women. Like, just to make that completely clear, right? My opinions are my opinions, and like you can like them or not, right? I just don't like the idea that no one ever bears any type of responsibility. Because if we just look at society, right, there are certain things that we maybe expect.
Okay.
Maybe I shouldn't use the word expect. There are certain ways you can portray yourself that does affect the way people view you. I hate to be this person, but unfortunately, in my community, right, I have a problem sometimes with some of the rappers we see that die all the time, right? Who promote certain lifestyles, certain music. I just don't like it. I don't think it's a great idea.
Okay.
And do they bear some sort of responsibility? I think so, right? So I just don't like this idea that we can't criticize women or men for certain things that they do, right? That do impact
Here's
the way
a-
they're viewed.
One of the first questions ever asked in all of creation: am I my brother's keeper? That's what it comes down to, right? Are you, right, responsible for those around you? Are you your brother's keeper? And again, I would agree, no one should have to. I think have to is just not good. But that's meaningless because I'm not here to tell people what they have to do. What I'm here is to hopefully show and teach people what they should do. And that
Teach.
applies across.
Ah, yes, Wick teaching people what they should do. Teach us, Wick. I mean, these conversations are kind of boring. Okay, let's just get to the. I'm gonna do this until we're finished with the game. How about that? How does that sound? Does that sound good?
All sorts
Wick is going to teach us what we should do.
of if we want to talk about intersectionality of how our identities, how our interactions, how our communities intersect. When I am a part of a community, whether that be a gaming community or a streaming community or any kind of community, I have a responsibility to those within the community who interact with that community. I just do. And to act, and I think one of the most toxic, harmful things, one of the biggest lies ever told, is that you aren't responsible. I think that's horseshit. I think it's horseshit. But we'll talk with Mantis at another day about that. Any thoughts from Mid or Stardust on this?
Oh no.
I do agree with Mantis because I mean,
Bosh crap.
being a creator is about literally creating your own image to like show in front of people. And, you know, that's all just people see in general. And I don't think it really like matters. And I agree. Sometimes you gotta know your vibe in certain places. And sometimes
It's such a weak panel.
it's not always gonna click. So I just believe that we don't really have a collective responsibility as creators, with both men and women, honestly, in how we represent or spread our ideas.
Yes. I guess that's good.
Sure. Go ahead.
He never has me ever.
Oh, I
guess
if you don't got nothing, you don't got nothing. We could bring on the next guest. Speaking of people who are
He
responsible.
didn't even bring me on this cringy Israel the panels. It'll be the Polish Jewish token person.
Responsible for many things, many terrible, horrific, catastrophic things. Azzy, what's up?
Why are you saying I'm in charge of that? Why are you saying I'm responsible for?
Because it's
Cash
funny and it's a good introduction. Go ahead.
No, it wasn't. You make me look bad, man. I'm trying to.
No, I can't make you look bad. Look at that beard. Look at that. Look at that wonderful, lovely, picturesque face. I cannot make you look bad, no matter how hard I try. Azzy, you're lovely. You're wonderful. What you got for us?
Yeah, I feel like this conversation is turning to milquetoast because nobody really wants to tread on anything. I'm not even going to say spicy. It's just anything of substance.
Let's say I have a question. Is Gaza similar to Warsaw ghettos? Yes. In my personal opinion, yes. Yes, it is.